All right, beautiful people, today we're going to recap the areas that we learned in 6th grade. So we learned squares, rectangles, parallelograms, trapezoids, and triangles. So we're going to go over those 5 shapes again today and just refresh our memories on the tips and tricks for those particular shapes. All right, so this first slide is your refresher on area of squares, rectangles, and parallelograms. So remember, a square has 4 equal sides. So this is your square example here. Again, 4 equal sides. So that means that this side is going to match this side. They're going to be equal. 12 equals 12. And so the formula for a square is the same as the formula for a rectangle or a parallelogram. And that's just going to be base times height. So when I write my formula, I'm going to write base times height, which is just, again, the same number. So we have a base of 12 and a height of 12, and 12 times 12 is 144. Okay, so that's your refresher on area of a square. Again, it's just the same number times the same number. All right, rectangles and parallelograms, again, have the same formula. So we have formula for area of a rectangle is going to be base times height, and same thing for formula of area of a parallelogram. And you can kind of see in this picture here why they're the same formula, okay? Because a rectangle is base, right? Base down here times height over here. Well, if you notice a parallelogram, all they did is they took the triangle from this spot and they moved it over and set it on the end to make the parallelogram. And so no matter what, my parallelogram is still going to be base times height. So again, base times height. But remember, on parallelograms, we never use the slant. We're never going to use the slant on these types of problems. We're still going to use a straight up and down height. Remember, when you go to the doctor and they take your height, you want to make sure they take your straight up and down, standing up straight height. All right, so again, rectangle, base times height, parallelogram, base times height. Same formula. And again, we always use the straight up and down height. We never use the slants, no slants. All right, so you can see in this example, I have an example of a parallelogram. My base is 8 and my height is 4. So I would label those. My base is 8 and my height is 4. Again, no slants. No slants is really important. So you can see I marked out the 7, no slants. Draw a little arrow to show you no slants. All right, and then when we plugged in, well, my base was 8. You can see that right here, my base of 8 and my height of 4. And again, we're just multiplying. 8 times 4 is 32. Well, we have an example of a rectangle down at the bottom with the exact same dimensions. Remember, we're going to define them. So my base was 8 in this picture. My height was 4 in this picture. So again, I plug into my formula, base times height. Well, 8 times 4 is still 32. So both of these shapes are going to have this exact same formula, plug in, and solve because they have the same formula. They use the same base and height. That's just what happened in the picture. And they end up with the same answer. And again, if you're confused on why they're the same, just look, they took this triangle from the corner and they just moved it over to the other side to make a parallelogram. All right, and that is rectangle and parallelogram refresher along with squares.